Waking Up Singapore.
Gotta get up.
The Big Show on Kiss 92.
Gotta get up.
Good morning, Singapore. It is Therapy Tuesday with the one, the only Dr. Geraldine Tan from the therapy room. Good morning, Jerry.
Good morning, and it's the one, the only Kiss 92, the team from Kiss 92.
Yay! Well done, well
Good
done.
one,
Jerry. Good morning, Dr. Jerry. How are you doing today?
Good morning. I am great today, and even greater because I saw all of you along Orchard Road yesterday.
Oh, you're so
Yes.
sweet. You came out to join us for a little bit.
Yeah, to say hello.
Just popped and said hello and then disappeared like the wind.
Yes, like a ninja. Next time we'll give you more notice and you can actually join us for lunch.
Yes, yes.
So,
That'll be
Jerry,
cool.
why do you think service standards, F&B service standards in Singapore are so poor? I mean, only if you agree that it's not good enough.
The restaurants, I was thinking about it, right? Restaurants, yes, when we pay, we expect to have a little bit of that pampering, but sometimes, we go there and we have an attitude. So now sometimes I'll look at the situation and go, okay, take a deep breath. Maybe they are a social enterprise. Let's see whether they've got needs or not. Maybe they have other needs that I don't know. But even as a young girl, right, I would get very nervous ordering from the kopitiam auntie and uncle. I'm not sure if anybody have that experience before, because when you go up to the maybe you want your wanton mee or your kopi, and you have to already prepare in your head what to say. Otherwise they will say, "Girl, what is it you want? Hurry up!" So I get very kanchiong, very nervous, trying to collect my thoughts, but feeling anxious, like, will they shout at me when I reach the head of the line?
Well, I think that's pretty much normal because the quicker you get out of the line, the quicker they can service the next person behind. So it's about money, right?
Sure, but it would be nice if they gave you a smile or they, told you like, okay, yeah, it's okay. You think about it, or okay, do you want this or that, or give you an option so that they call that, worry inside your heart rather than shout at you, right?
But but that's okay because there's no service charge there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
You're right. There's no service charge.
But we just talk about restaurants.
I get annoyed at that sort of thing as well, whether it's a restaurant or a stall.
And I don't see how hard it is to just be nice. You know what I mean? How hard is it? Because the customer can be nasty as well. I can go in and demand everything, but I mean, we don't do that.
Hawkers okay lah. Hawkers can just they can do whatever they want. I feel.
I think it's an attitude across the entire society, right? So it doesn't matter what service staff you are, but to also have a good attitude across in the society so that everybody is kind to everybody else.
Yeah, that is true.
I think you should help some of these F&B staff. They seem to be going through quite a bit.
Yeah.
If anyone needs a psychologist, it's people in the F&B industry. Okay. Let's talk to Jerry on the Big Show TV. It is Tuesday, the 23rd of May.
Kiss 92 Day Check brought to you by Gain City's Maximum Savings.
So, Dr. Jerry, you were saying that you were anxious whenever you went up as a younger girl going up to the aunties to order drinks and food and whatnot. And that's what we're talking about today, right? Anxiety.
Yeah.
Anxiety, yes, we are talking about anxiety. Anxiety is the theme of the Mental Health Month in the US. So Mental Health Month in the US is actually May, and their theme for this year is anxiety, and rightly so, because there's so many people who are anxious. Since the beginning of this year, I don't know why. I've been getting so many people at the center. So, yeah.
Could it be because coming off the pandemic, people are anxious because they don't know what the future is like? Because a lot of
what
people
are they
would have
anxious about?
lost
That's
their
it.
businesses and stuff like that.
They don't know what's coming. They're afraid something bad may be coming.
We logically say that, but the anxiety is a mixture of pent up emotions, it's all the workload that is coming on to them because there's a lot of changes in the workplaces. Quite a number of people are resigning. There's movement in the workplaces. I would say yes, it's about uncertainty, but it's also about a lot of change this year. So this year is quite tough for a number of people.
It's also the higher cost of living that gets to people because
I think that's a big issue.
the wages are not matching the inflation and the rising costs of living. I mean, already we see in the papers the rentals are going up, the sale of flats are going up in price, the cars are so expensive, everything, food's going up, everything.
Which is why think twice before you resign.
Yes, that is
Yes.
true
Okay.
as well, yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
very true. But Jerry, what's the difference between someone just being really worried and having anxiety? What are the symptoms? What am I looking for?
So most of us have anxiety, right? Most of us feel the emotion of worry, of fear, and that is normal. So we can fear a presentation. But when somebody has performance anxiety, they can't even function. Their legs tremble, their hands tremble. It's more than just, I'm worried about something. Their thoughts become very paralyzing. So they think a lot of thoughts that kind of stop them from actually progressing, from doing what they actually need to do.
So in our industry, it would be something like stage fright.
So actually, it's not peculiar to only your industry, but with the reopening, right, there are a lot more in-person presentation. You cannot imagine how many more people come forward and say, I cannot sit in front of the entire team and present, do the presentation or stand in front of a crowd anymore. I think I prefer to just sit behind the screen. So they start to worry.
And if it's tough, I mean, I still get sometimes nervous going up on stage. And if it's tough for someone like me who's been doing it for so long, public presentation is one of the hardest things to do.
But I've always felt, Jerry, that a degree of nervousness, a degree of apprehension
Is good. Yeah, keeps you on your toes.
Isn't it?
It is. So when we go into organizations to talk about anxiety, there's an element of stress also. So stress management, where they talk about like deadlines and they have to meet deadlines. That's a level of stress and they start to worry, I cannot meet the deadline. Or they have bosses that micromanage looking into each and every piece of work and word that they put out. That is stressful for them, which then causes a lot of anxiety. Like, I don't want to see my boss. I don't know whether my piece of work is okay. I don't want to send out that email just because I'll be picked on for grammatical errors. Things that are new, novel. So if they are given new pieces of project that they are not used to, so somehow other people are trying to stick with familiar these days. And when they're given a new piece of work or new project, they find it very difficult to manage because they say, oh, but I don't know this. So the very common thing with the younger generation is that they would say, I don't know something, and it stops there. There's no more learning.
That's the easy way out, isn't
laughing.
it? Yeah, because like, I don't know. It's such like play ignorant, right? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's the easy way out. But are there different types of anxiety? I know there are different levels of anxiousness, but are there different types of anxiety?
Different types of anxiety disorder. So there is generalized anxiety disorder. So you don't know what exactly you're worried about. It's just global. There is seasonal affective disorder. No, sorry, not seasonal. That's a different thing. Social anxiety disorder, same acronym but different. Yeah, social anxiety disorder. The teens love to diagnose themselves with this one. Oh, I don't want to meet people because I have social anxiety disorder. I say rubbish, So
Do they call it sad? Do they call it sad?
sad is usually
Sad is the weather
seasonal
one.
Yeah, seasonal affective disorder.
Oh, is it? Oh,
Yeah.
right. I didn't know that.
So if
Okay.
it's it's raining all the time, like people in Europe, certain places.
actual seasonal, right?
Yes, yes,
okay.
correct. Like in
okay.
London, it's
Yes,
always gloomy, you know.
Got it. Always gray
They have
and all that.
seasonal affective disorder.
Towards the end of the year, I mean, Europe always
Yes.
hits into
Yes.
depression.
Correct, correct. So that is
Got it.
depressiveness. We're talking about anxiety, which is
Anxiety.
also confusing because there are so many overlapping signs and symptoms. But phobias fall under anxiety also. So
Okay,
all
let's
your
talk-
different sort of phobias.
Let's talk about phobias when we go back on air.
Okay.
Stand by, okay?
Kiss 92 traffic.
On the BKE towards the PIE, right after the Mandai Road exit, look out for a broken down vehicle. Also on the SLE towards the CTE after Lentor Avenue's exit, avoid lane 2. An accident has been spotted. Stay safe.
Welcome back to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. Today we're talking about anxiety, and I want to bring my boy up, okay? My boy Biscuit,
Okay.
Yeah.
who has
All right.
storm phobia, okay? And
Okay.
as a result of that, he's anxious. You know, whenever the sky starts to turn grey,
Oh,
and
already?
dark,
Not
he
even
knows.
thunder and
And I
lightning?
think he can hear thunder from a distance away.
Right, yeah.
And so he knows.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
sometimes I wonder, why are you like trembling?
So he's like
You know?
a weather
Poor guy.
forecast
Exactly.
machine. Okay.
Exactly.
Hmm.
You know, so he has storm phobia, and therefore he has this anxiety.
Anxiety.
Does that work when it comes to humans? Is it the same
of
thing?
course. I don't know who has storm phobia, but I don't even think someone
Other
has
phobias.
storm-
Other phobias.
But
Okay, of course there are other phobias. You have your agoraphobia, you have the what else? So many different types of phobia, but let me see. Fear of heights, fear of flying, fear of spiders. Yeah, so all these can be phobias.
so when it comes to that, is the anxiety the comorbidity of the phobia, or is the phobia the comorbidity of the anxiety?
Phobia is under the big umbrella of anxiety. Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay, so phobia is a
is
type of anxiety because
anxiety.
when you're afraid of something, you also get very anxious.
Yeah.
Right.
Got it. Got it.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So there are other things like separation anxiety, even selective mutism comes under anxiety.
Selective
Oh, wow.
what?
Mutism.
Mutism.
Mutism. Selective
They just won't
mutism.
talk, right?
Yeah, they won't talk.
Oh, you see.
Wow.
Many
okay.
kids are like that these days. Go like, hello.
That's it. They look at That's just them not
Like-
wanting to say hello to you. It's not mutism.
Yeah, but sometimes we wonder whether, are you really mute?
Poke them and
No,
see if
they're
they
not
scream.
really. They're just not used to greeting people and talking to people. I mean,
That's
the young
upbringing,
ones,
lah,
when
come
they-
on.
Yeah.
No, not
It
really.
is. It's
Sometimes I
upbringing.
think-
My child is like, I'll give my child a slap.
We
straight
blame
away.
everything on upbringing.
Yeah, it is upbringing. Come on.
Oh dear. No. The younger generation nowadays, I always complain, they need to be taught to say hello on the phone
Oh my
because they
gosh.
don't even know how to say hello. The first thing they do when they pick up the phone is to text.
Yes.
So they
Yeah.
don't know how to say hello.
And they don't like talking on the phone at all. They'd
Yeah.
rather text.
Yeah. Okay, let's continue to talk to Jerry on the Big Show TV. It's 8:14.
Kiss 92 Time Check brought to you by Putian. Fresh, crisp, and tender.
Upbringing, actually. I mean, these days, right, children don't go, hi, uncle, hi, auntie,
No, they
or
don't.
whatever.
They
They
don't.
don't,
They
right?
don't.
Because they're not taught to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've also come across, many kids
That
who actually
too.
do that. And guess who taught them to do that?
Yeah,
Their
it's the parents.
Their parents.
Yeah.
Told them, okay, be polite and
Yes.
just acknowledge.
Yeah.
Exactly,
your,
exactly.
Your auntie or your uncle or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
But there are kids who are just damn rude.
It's the parents. It's all upbringing.
Really?
It's rude
I would
parents.
say no because I had to tell a few children, including mine, and this is my children grew up with me, yeah. So I said, can't you just call? This is so embarrassing. And me being me, when I take off the psychologist hat, I will go like, it's so embarrassing. What I taught you so many times since young to greet whoever that we are meeting. So my daughter one day decided to tell me, no, it's not that I don't want to say hello. I just have social anxiety. I go like, what rubbish? What do you mean you got social anxiety? She used to back on me. I was like, no. She says, yeah, I think I have social anxiety. I dare not look at people.
But what makes a child say that? Is it just sheer laziness? I don't want to communicate? Or are they nervous? Are they worried?
Freedom of expression.
Yeah.
No, freedom of expression is quite a funny one, but there is a certain level of anxiety. Even myself, when I go and network or meet people for the first time, I would feel a little bit nervous. I'll feel a little bit worried, right? So they just expand it and make it a disorder.
Can I jump in? Can I therapize you this time?
Therapize?
Yeah. How old are your children?
13 and 15.
So would you consider them COVID kids because they spent 2.5 years at home not socializing with the outside world? Because there is a whole generation that's called the COVID kids, right? And I think Ashley, our intern, is one of them as well, where they didn't really get the chance to go socialize outside with people other than their school kids and stuff like that. So when they actually are out now, it's almost like they don't know how to behave. It's true, though.
Ashley's okay,
No,
though.
that's why she hangs around with us.
That is true.
But and that's why the upbringing in the studio is good. I'm not talking about your
We're her
parents. But do you think that's it as well? I know it's not an excuse, but I think a lot of kids coming out of COVID and the pandemic would be facing anxiety.
Many of the children who have gone through that period, so it doesn't matter how old you are, COVID definitely has an impact, or had an impact, has still going on, has an impact on all our children, including us. So I would not doubt it is a contributing factor, but we also look at pre-morbid. That means before COVID, were they also like that? And the answer is yes, they were also like that. Yeah, so COVID and the lockdown just exacerbated this behavior and legitimized this behavior. And it's taking a little while longer to then socialize them back to the way society is comfortable.
It's interesting because I've read reports coming out of the UK where this doesn't only affect kids, but it affects adults. The whole pandemic, the biggest problem or the fear that people have now in the UK of going to a pub is, I have to speak to someone.
Yes.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
And psychologists in the UK are having to deal with this. In Japan, there are people, and I don't understand this either, a report came out, there are people in Japan teaching the Japanese how to smile again because they've been covered with this mask.
And because socializing already, like you said, before the pandemic is a difficult thing. Going into a bar or a club and introducing yourself and talking to strangers is already hard. So having not done that and not being able to practice that for 2.5 years, going back in also is a little bit more difficult for some people.
I find it so stupid.
No, you see, Glenn,
I find it so stupid.
No,
like in the Japanese, maybe it's because some of them have bad teeth. That's why.
No, Glenn, I think with you it's very different because I have never met anyone in my entire life
That can
who
socialize
makes
like him.
socializing look as easy as you do.
Oh my God!
No, I don't.
No, you do.
No, you do, man. You do.
You know, this guy, like, and I will say it all the time, right? We'll be like walking somewhere outside, and all of a sudden you lose Glenn, right? And because he's in a shop that we were in and we all thought we left, talking to the salesperson or whatever, and before you know it, he's got this person's number. He knows how many children this person has, and then he ends up meeting that person for dinner. This is who he is.
He makes socializing look simple.
It's like if there's a term social butterfly, Glenn Ong's
Glenn's
face
it.
needs to be at the bottom.
Yeah.
Social butterfly.
Social butterfly.
No, social moth.
Okay, social moth. There's a new one for you.
Yeah, but when you're anxious, right? You know, your whole body tense up. You just feel sick to the stomach. For some people, right? They can't function. They legit cannot function. You know, sweaty palms, sweaty feet, heart palpitations. The problem is many people don't recognize they're sitting with the anxiety for such a long period of time. They don't recognize it. So I've got clients that come here and they say, I feel nauseous. So sent for pregnancy tests, blood tests, and all sorts of tests. And then finally the doctor says, you're fine. Everything as in medically fine. I think you need to see a psychologist.
Right.
My little finger hurts when I get anxious.
Really?
Yeah, my little finger hurts when I get anxious.
You need to see an orthopedic surgeon.
No.
A chiropractor.
But it doesn't happen so much anymore. I mean, it started disappearing after just recently. But before I go on stage, it used to hurt so much. I used to have to rub it because that was the anxiousness. I realized.
That is so strange,
Isn't
right?
it? It's just in my little
Yeah.
finger.
But in a way, it's good because it's an indicator, right? So, I mean,
It's like butterflies, but it's in my finger.
so in any situation, the moment you
Oh.
feel like you're starting to get anxious,
yeah.
it'll start to ache.
It'll start to ache.
Does anxiety show up like this in other people, or is it just Angel?
I'm special.
Well, we spoke to Ash yesterday. Actually, Ashley, we spoke to Ashley yesterday, and she can tell when
She's gonna
when
get a
a
migraine.
headache is coming.
Yes.
She sees
Yes.
an aura, she says.
Yes.
That-
She sees like a
your migraine
semicircle or something. Sorry?
Yeah, so it could be a tension headache where you are
Yeah.
so tense and then the headache starts coming. So for some people, they hold it in different places of their bodies, and it's good to scan. So whoever that's listening in or watching us can do a scan of their body, because some people it's head, some people are in their jaw, some people in their neck, shoulder, hands. So Angel holds it in her hands. Some in the tummy, some in the buttocks, or some have the curled toes.
Oh.
Right. Yeah,
Wow.
but when we mentioned Ash just now, right?
Oh.
I mean, we were not making it up, you know. I mean, she can actually see something, and when she sees that, it's always the same thing.
Yes, she knows
Right.
she has some
She knows
time.
that she's got a bit of time to take some medication. If not, she'll get that terrible migraine, which will last for about 6 hours.
Yeah. So she has a
How
little bit
amazing
of
is
warning.
that?
Yeah. Kind of like Biscuit as
Not
well.
nice.
He tells you when it's going to rain.
Yeah.
That's because he smells something in the air and he hears something.
Yeah.
Okay.
On the BKE towards the PIE right after the Mandai Road exit, a vehicle has broken down. Look out for that and stay safe, please.
All right, we're back on The Big Show and The Big Show TV with Dr. Geraldine Tan from the therapy room.
Dr. Jerry, at what point does anxiety become critical? When I mean critical, I mean paralyzing, almost debilitating. Does it ever reach that point?
So those with phobias, so I had children, classic example would be children and balloons. So sometimes they are so scared of the balloon. I had one boy who was so scared of the balloon, and we had to do exposure for him because there was once the lifter opened, there was a balloon inside. He was in the car park, he just dashed. And without bothering whether there was a car or not, and he just dashed. So that is dangerous. So that was when the parents go, no, cannot. We need to bring him for therapy. So when you put yourself in danger, you cannot function. So it's not just in the workplace that you cannot function, which we do have. We have those that cannot function anymore with this certain type of boss, or cannot function in terms of the doing presentation, but also the different types of phobias that cause them harm, potentially fatal harm. Then they would need to come forward.
So when you say this boy had a fear of balloons and you used something called exposure, what's that mean? You put him in a room full of balloons?
And you burst the balloons.
Oh my God! So what do you do?
No. We do it progressively. So we do visualization. We do, it depends on what they're comfortable with. It could be just visualization first. It could be having the actual thing. It could be just touching it, feeling it, or even just looking at photos. Yeah, so
Right,
there's
okay.
a whole process
Wow.
that we
Not a room full
them.
of balloons. Can you imagine?
Yeah. I mean,
That's shock
no, no, no,
therapy.
no, no.
I mean, you see, he must have gone through a bad experience.
As a
maybe
child.
maybe a
Yeah.
friend burst a balloon or something
Yeah.
like that, and he was startled, and then
Scarred for the rest of his life.
exactly. So I think in order to get him to overcome this, you need to burst more balloons.
You're terrible, Glenn.
Keep on bursting
Not
until he's numb.
there.
He's numb to it.
No,
Oh, okay.
no.
That's
No,
why
but-
you're not a therapist, Glenn.
Okay.
That's when some people get anxiety attacks. So there's panic attacks and anxiety attacks. We've run out of time, but it's okay.
How did you always run out of time? How?
Did Shalini message you, or what is it?
Okay. We have run out of
I
time.
was just looking at the time and I was like, we've run out of time, but it's okay.
Yeah, you should see
We
the amount
can
of red
talk-
cards that she's already shown us.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
Because Nian Tjoe is coming in.
Yes.
But I can't see the red card, so it's okay.
Any
Okay.
final words, Dr. Jerry?
Yes. So Jodie Picot says in Sing You Home, anxiety is like a rocking chair. It gives you something to do, but it doesn't get you very far.
Nice.
Interesting.
I hate rocking chairs.
I love rocking
Do you
chairs.
have a phobia of rocking chairs?
Not really, but I mean, I did hurt my toe.
Oh, there you
once.
go.
Yeah, my toe was just under there,
Got
right? And my
caught.
brother just decided to jump on the rocking chair. Ouch! So I don't have a phobia of rocking chairs, but I will never have
Don't
a
like
rocking
them.
chair in my house.
Okay.
Okay, anyway, thank you very much, Dr. Jerry, for joining us.
Don't worry, see you next week.
Okay, thank you.
Bye,
See
Jerry.
ya.
Bye.
Coming up next, we have our senior transport correspondent from the Straits Times, Nian Tjoe. It is Tuesday, the 23rd of May.
Kiss 92 Day Check brought to you by Gain City's Maximum.
All right, Nian Tjoe is coming in. Today we'll be talking about...
You remember that article with all the shortage of drivers for Comfort Delgro buses? So they're going to have to stop some of the
School buses, yes.
Really?
Yes, that's what it's
Morning,
talking
Nian
about.
Tjoe.
Good morning, Nian Tjoe.
Oh, okay. I was just asking FDS. What are we talking about today? I didn't check...
School
No,
buses.
because I actually read this. So
Yeah,
I
I've
know-
seen-
I know it.
seen the
Yeah,
article.
I've seen
Go
the
ahead.
article.
Pull it forward here. Okay, school
There you go.
holidays coming up. Are you all excited? No.
He
You look
got
scared.
with such a small voice. No.
He's like one whole month needing to entertain your children.
More than a month.
More than a month? Is it?
It always feels more than a month.
Oh, it feels more. But it's
true.
actually a month.
Yeah.
So what do you have planned for the school holidays?
Rent
The train
children
ride.
You rent
No,
the children
actually,
out.
number one is my wife is bringing one of the kids out of the country. So,
Yeah,
that's
so that
Oh.
needs-
So you're left with one?
step one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
Yeah,
half
after
the
that,
half the mission solved.
Okay,
Yeah,
is there like a little convenience store anywhere near your place?
You can set her off to work.
Yeah, rent the kid out, no? Labor.
He's looking. He's considering it.
think.
He's
Yeah.
considering it.
I think the wife should take the other kid as well.
Yeah.
You
Otherwise,
have,
they get separation anxiety.
We were just talking about anxiety. You don't want to put your child through
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I heard a bit of that.
He's like, yes,
Yeah.
I think that's a
Yeah.
good idea.
Like, Andre, his wife and the kids are in Vegas already. Every year he goes to Vegas.
Has he already
So-
left? We just saw him
no,
yesterday.
No, not yet.
Oh,
So,
okay, he's
so
going
usually
back.
the wife will go,
Go
first.
first.
Oh, right.
And then he'll
okay.
have a week.
Right.
You know, and of course, I mean, he's extremely happy.
He's named that week. It's called Heaven.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
he's listening right now. He's like, damn, you guys, stop it.
Now everybody knows.
Now everyone knows.
So, today he's going to play golf. Tomorrow he's going to play golf. And then he's going out drinking on
Of
Thursday.
course he is.
Friday night he's going out drinking once again. And then he flies off on Saturday.
It's called a week-long hall pass.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay, so what are you going to be doing with your other child during the holidays?
I think I'll be coping.
No, I'm talking about real
one.
plans.
Oh yeah, I don't really have
You
much of a
don't?
plan.
That's a father talking. Mother
Yeah,
will have a whole itinerary
Yeah,
planned out
yeah,
already.
I'm looking at from an off day basis. So like the weekends, I gotta figure out something to fill the time.
Such a dad thing to say.
Yeah.
The new bird park.
There you
Yeah,
go.
that's going to be really good.
Oh, I've heard
The new
about that
bird
one.
park,
So
yeah.
the
That's
colleagues
gonna
have
be
gone
really
and they
good.
say it's amazing.
Just
Oh,
don't
really?
touch the rails.
Yeah, the
Why? What's wrong with the rails?
Zapped.
A few people
I
got
saw that.
electrocuted.
Yes, I saw something
How
about
how old is the kid?
This one that is not traveling, she's not listening to the radio, she's 3.
that. She's 3.
Oh,
okay.
that's an
So
adorable
cute.
Yeah, so it's fun.
It's a cute age. And your other one is how old?
9.
9. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
Still cute.
Still cute?
Cute also lah.
Always cute.
But verging on teenage already, I'm sure, the 9-year-old, right? So the 3-year-old, you're much better off.
Yeah.
You're much better off. That one's easy to entertain.
You got 2 girls.
Yes.
2 girls.
2 girls. Okay. Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
So where would you bring a 3-year-old girl though?
Yeah, the
The
bird park will
convenience
be
store,
fun.
I
The
heard.
convenience store.
Suggestions on our Facebook, please.
Rent a child.
What do you do with a 3-year-old?
Okay, so I'm looking at your latest article.
Yes.
Is shortage of drivers pushes ComfortDelGro to end 4 school bus contracts by June school holidays.
Okay, we have 30 seconds. We'll do traffic
Yeah,
and
let's
then we
do
can
that on
talk
air.
about
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
Let's do that on air. Okay. What nowadays the buses are big.
Oh, yeah. The school buses are huge.
Mine was a small enthusiast van.
No. Now some of them are really big.
Okay, stand by.
Kiss 92 traffic.
On the BKE towards the PIE before the Dairy Farm Road exit, avoid lane 4, please. A vehicle has broken down. Wherever you are today, stay safe.
Welcome back to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. Our second guest for this morning is the senior transport correspondent at the Straits Times, Nian Tjoe. Welcome back, Nian Tjoe.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. And today we're talking school buses, but the school holidays are just around the corner, aren't they?
Yes.
So why are we talking about school buses?
So we found that as the school, just before school close, or it will close, some companies have actually kind of tendered their resignation from the schools.
Oh.
see.
Basically, they're going to stop service.
Why?
Yeah. So, well, they tell us that number 1 is cost, number 2 is still cost, but it's a lot to do with manpower. There's a shortage of drivers.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, the industry, at least in this particular sector of moving children, right, in primary school, that's many of us parents would be, that's like the lifeline.
Yeah.
Because if you
Yeah.
do without it, it's quite unimaginable, right? Well,
Yeah.
on the other side, on the service provider side, they're saying that this is not a very sustainable type of business. Partially, when I started looking at school buses and talking to these operators, they said, hey, look, our contracts were set pre-COVID.
Yeah.
And then these contracts are locked them in for 2 years, for 3 years. And the numbers that they're looking at today is very different from what they were before. At the same time, you have other competing needs for these drivers. So instead of driving primary school kids, which is sometimes thankless if you think about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I come from first and but imagine a bus full of them.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and at the same time, the bus drivers or the time is actually better spent, say, moving workers.
Yeah.
Like worker transport. Yeah, and
Yeah.
there's real need for that as
Yeah.
well. And before we factor in tourism or your mines and all that, and just from that perspective, I think it kind of just makes the problem even worse.
So
Yeah.
what are the parents going to do if there is a shortage of buses and they cannot take their children to school?
So I think before we touch on that part of the equation, is that what will happen to these schools or what the schools are doing now in terms
Yeah.
of looking for new vendors.
Yeah.
And it's a tender, right? So it's down to price. So I think the most likely outcome is that parents have to be prepared to pay more.
And it's
Right.
not cheap as it is.
No, it's not. It's not cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm a bit of two minds in this, because if it was on average, well, very rough average, I think we're looking at about $200 per
Yeah.
child
Yeah.
Per month?
per month,
Per month, yeah.
but not for the whole year.
Oh, yeah, that's
3
true.
months
yeah.
where you don't pay.
Yeah. Okay.
so,
So, it's 9
that-
months.
Yes, but still, $200 is not exactly chump change, right? But if you take it down to 20 days,
Yeah.
uh,
Per
the
day
2
and
trips
all that.
and
yeah.
all that is $5. So the question is, what is the alternative? Can you spare yourself? I mean, either you get out of work or you stop whatever you're doing. Some of us are lucky enough you have help at home.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah.
But for those that don't, then you have a problem.
They have to, they
There's
have
no
to change
alternative.
their
Yeah.
routine.
Yeah.
Okay, let's continue to talk to Nian Tjoe on The Big Show TV. Here's Ariana Grande, Positions on Kiss 92, all the great songs in one place.
You say $200 a month, and then you have 9 months is $1,800. You think, wow, that's quite a lot, because 10 kids already is $18,000. But then
Yeah.
when you break it down, $5 a day, okay.
Yeah.
You can't really complain
Yeah,
about
yeah,
that.
a bus is probably earning just over $50,000 a year, based on the number of kids you have in a big bus.
Yeah, and actually, as I went like really nerd out on this sector, right? It's quite grim because remember, I think on this table we had the 2 sessions, right? Growing up, you have AM and PM session. Now
Yes.
you have
Yeah.
1.
Yep.
So that as an operator, you are stuck with that's maximum 2 trips,
Yeah,
and then some days are CCAs and so on, so 3 trips.
yeah.
But then effectively you are locked into this schedule. You know, we talk about worker transport and all that, or at one period, I think even the army boys are being transported with these buses, right?
Yeah.
But you can't quite fit into this timing when they're kind of just blocking you wherever you need to go, and the first priority is the contract, which is the kids.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. So on that front, making that revenue wise, you said, oh, it's like 50,000 or 100,000. Well, how much do new buses cost?
Yeah.
How much are you going to pay the driver? I think today, if you say that a driver is worth $2,400, you're like, that's pretty rough for him.
And they need an
Yeah.
assistant as well when they have
Correct.
school kids.
Buses, yes.
They
Because
need an
the
assistant.
children are hard to control.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you need that bus auntie to be there
Yeah.
or the uncle to make
I
sure
mean, I
they
can
sit
only,
down.
I can't imagine the stress. You know, the driver as well as whoever's helping him out.
Because
on-
they're
on-
responsible
on
for the kids'
bus
lives.
Go through. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, one of the natural suggestion is, or at least from the industry, says give us more quotas so we can have foreigners doing the job. And then
Oh,
some of them
right.
says, hang on, would you entrust? I mean, let's not go on your nationality thing, but a person who's new to this environment,
Yeah.
the stress of bringing children dealing
yeah.
with traffic. I think there is a certain we tend to feel more, right? A bit more
Yeah.
sensitive to when it comes to moving the little ones.
Yeah.
So there's all these factors that just doesn't bode well for this industry, for this sector. But then again, I think where this story for me really hits home is literally at home, where we're talking about families being affected as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of us have the help, others don't, and then at the same time, there's this financial burden to bear.
Yeah.
So does your 9-year-old take the school bus?
One way.
One way, okay,
one
okay.
way.
And if she were affected, how would that affect you?
I will need to look for a different job. No, but we need this sort of flexibility. I
Yeah.
think we are fortunate at home where my wife and I, we do have some flexibility. We can work from home if we need to.
Yeah.
But I think we are better off.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are
Yeah.
many that
Can't
Yeah.
afford
Yeah.
to do that. Yeah.
I think it's okay to have like foreign drivers and all that. I mean, you got no choice. You know,
You
what I mean,
got no
sometimes
choice.
the kids need some Shaolin.
No.
What do you call-
But I get what Nian Tjoe means, because they may not be used to our roads. Communication wise, they may not even be able to speak English.
Actually, the question is on that front. Even if we are willing to accept it, the manpower space is as such that where you have your quota of
Yeah.
foreign workers to
Yeah.
locals.
Yeah.
So another dimension to this problem is that the school bus drivers are an aging bunch.
Yes.
And
You
then they're going to
noticed
hit retirement. And on the other side, also for I don't know, is it a disposition that comes with age? You know, karma. You can do the grandfatherly thing and grandmotherly thing and says like, hush.
Yeah.
Maybe it's that. But once they hit that age where they have to retire,
Yeah.
then at the same time, the quota for foreign drivers also drops.
Yeah.
So it kind of snowballs.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think I've spoken with one of the associations that represents school bus transport, and he says that he expects, we're going to lose maybe 10% of the headcount
Oh, wow.
manpower every year.
Oh wow, that's
Wow.
quite a lot.
Yeah, I think he's probably trying to like scare us into like, hey, we really need help.
Yeah.
But I so even you take away the grain of salt, it is really a big problem.
But, I mean, what's the solution to it? You're an aging
Let
population.
them walk to school.
You're an aging population.
yeah,
Those in
anyway,
Japan do.
They live close by anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah,
Actually, what Glenn is saying, I fully subscribe. But up
Walk
to a
to
certain
school?
point, no, because schools, I think this is the first year, 2023 is the first year where for P1, the cohort, they actually prioritize, or rather they increase the priority for those that live nearby.
Right. Yeah.
So if we take this and say 6 years later, you should have a
Everyone
total,
nearby. Yes.
well, more than now.
Yeah.
But that said, there's also, I mean, with comments where look, our traffic system, our road system is still very vehicle centric. So I mean, for the youngsters to be running around, or I mean, just now
exactly.
listening about how you have an anxiety attack and you run out in the car park.
Yeah.
So these are the risks where you don't need to have 1 in 200 children gets into an accident.
Yeah,
That's too
you
many.
don't need. Yeah.
Right,
you don't
1 in
need that.
2,000 is too many,
Yeah.
and so on. So I think the care is going to be one of those. The whole community needs to work around it. But we can't just say that easy where it says, okay, you are primary 1 or primary 4, go take the bus.
Yeah, but having said that, also our road system, our pavement system, and everything is very well built for walking.
Yes.
And cycling
It
and
gets
stuff like
better
that.
as
So
well.
yeah,
It's the discipline of the kids.
it's the
though.
discipline of the child, which brings us
Yeah.
down to upbringing.
Okay,
Again.
let's go back
Yeah.
on air. Stand by. I was taking the bus in primary 3. I was taking the bus.
The public bus? Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, I think I didn't take it till secondary.
Wow.
The Weekend with Blinding Lights right here on Kiss 92. All the great songs in one place. And in case you haven't heard, he might be using his real name, which I feel
Abel Tesfaye, is
Tesfaye.
it? Abel
Tesfaye.
Tesfaye. He's no longer the Weekend.
I prefer The Weekend.
I like the Weekend
Yeah,
as
me
well.
too.
Yeah.
Easier for me to say.
It is.
Sounds more interesting
but
also.
can you
The
spell?
Weekend.
But can you spell it?
Abel?
No, the Weekend.
Of course.
No, spell it.
That's one word.
WKEND.
WK no,
No.
WEEKND.
Oh,
See
okay,
that
okay.
we even have problems spelling it,
Right,
so
right,
he should
right,
just
right.
find
but,
an easier
But
name.
you know why it was such a good idea to call himself The Weekend? Because it's something we all look forward to.
Exactly.
The moment we hear
exactly.
The Weekend, oh yeah.
Yes, it's the Weekend.
I don't know. You what's his actual name?
Abel Tesfaye.
Abel
You
Tesfaye.
see, you got a name like Tesfaye? You sound like an insect that bites a cow and then the cow gets infected.
Oh
you know what I
dear.
You're on your own.
mean?
Eddie.
I cannot lie. No, I don't like the name at all.
You're making fun of someone's name that he was born with.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
terrible.
Do you know how I have lived with a name like Kylenberg?
And FD is actually more South African actually.
Oh, is South African?
Yes.
Okay.
My family did stay in South Africa
Okay,
for a
all
very
right.
long time.
And then he just made fun of Tesfaye.
Tesfaye.
Right? Okay.
So
It's,
I'm there. I got roots there. So.
right.
Mr.
Okay,
Apartheid.
you're allowed to. Wow. Okay. All right. Let's not forget that we have Nian Tjoe here talking
morning,
about
Nian
school
Tjoe.
buses.
Keeping a straight face.
What's the solution to this? I mean, I can see where if we're not going to get enough school buses, maybe companies are going to have to go with more flexible working hours for certain staff, maybe so they can get their kids to school.
I think there'll be calls for that sort of arrangements.
Yeah.
At the same time, there are also other alternatives instead of the traditional contracted school bus. For example, you could carpool with the other kids in the neighborhood.
Yes.
But
idea.
there is, but all these ideas, fundamentally, I think there will be a factor of trust and convenience. Because imagine if you're, let's just, I mean, there might be parents that says, okay, we'll take turns, we'll roster. Or we just call a Grab, but we all pull in the
Yeah,
the
that's an
price.
idea. Yeah.
And these are actually done.
All
And
right.
there are also services out there that says that, look, you can charter us, but it's not the same bus uncle or bus auntie that's going to pick you up. All these little, okay, they're not little, but they'll be less convenient. There'll be a bit more friction in
But
these arrangements.
I mean, less convenient is with anything new.
Yes.
After a while, people will get
You
used
get
to
used
it.
to it.
You know.
But this is Singapore, you see. We're not used to
less convenient.
exactly.
We want it to be efficient, be done
Everything
now,
needs to
and
be
and
very
cheap.
convenient.
And cheap,
everything
cheap,
needs to be
cheap, cheap.
routine and cheap. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I like the carpool idea. You know, if one parent is driving, but then what happens if that parent can't go
Yep.
Yeah.
and somebody else needs to do
So,
it?
so in a sense, we need to go back to that more like village, or
Yeah.
that kampong sort of
Spirit,
approach where you need
yeah.
to help one another. And coming back, there'll be those that will be leakages. Those that are by the fringe. I don't have this facility. I think then there's the opportunity, or that's where is it a system or some kind of help can be rendered.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean overall, we're talking about at the end we're trying to catch the bulk of the people.
Yeah.
People can cope. I
Yeah,
think, yeah.
they can cope.
We could make
And
the
they will
teachers go pick up their kids.
Right?
Students.
Since you're on the way there,
Nah, teacher's got a tough enough job
come
already.
swing by and get my child.
No, teacher's got a tough enough job already.
Okay, Nian Tjoe, we've run out of time. Any last words before you go?
Well, I think this week is good because there's no COE to fuss over.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, this school bus story, I find myself pretty excited in terms of learning more about it. And I mean, the suggestions that I'm repeating, I'm not the one to come up with. It's just like what we've been hearing from parents, from the operators. And I'm looking forward to hear more because this seems to be really like getting people on their feet.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, to just want something done because everybody's involved or affected one way or
For
another.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So readers can send you email and...
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. What's your email address? You can give it out. You can give it out. How are they going to send you an email?
It's Nian Tjoe, NIANTJOEL @sph.com.sg.
Okay.
There you
there
go.
You go. If you have,
Usually at the
Interesting.
bottom of the stories as well.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
okay.
okay,
So if you
that's
have any like suggestions on how the school bus system could work, you can send it to Nian Tjoe.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Or the transport minister.
Or the transport minister. Yes.
Whom we'll have on the show one day. Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you very much, Nian Tjoe.
Thank you.
Singapore's Kiss 92.
I've been a throw up the sex.